Class, welcome to Module 10. We've only got two more chapters to go through, and you will be headed to your own presentations within the class. So not a whole lot to go with. It's interesting since I record these early for you. It feels like we're way far away from the end of the semester. Hopefully I'm not getting things out of turn here, but I really want you to think about work. For those of you that have taken sociology before, you already know the significant issue that gender has on work, the works we do, as well as the amount we receive in pay. We kind of separate our lives into the social world and the work world, and those fundamental divisions between those two realms are important for us to look at. We've already looked at family work, and we've seen that the work world comes into that on a regular basis. And how it comes in and what's involved is really important. And we go back to that theory that comes into place at home that we look at who does the work at home based on time constraints, relative resources, and gender ideology. Now we look at some of the places that we get the time constraints and the pieces that make relative resources, because money makes a difference. Makes a difference of who earns the most money, but gender ideology often overtrumps that. So as we start exploring this particular area, I think it's important for you to understand that women make up in the world half the labor force. Now, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but that wasn't what people thought of it in the past. Now, I really encourage you, and some of you may have gone this route, if you're looking at a book review, to consider such books as Stephanie Kunz's The Way We Never Were, who talks about the history of working women throughout the American society and how they always worked and their work wasn't counted. Today, women are more likely to be counted as part of the workforce. They receive benefits. There are many things that have changed in the process. Remember when Social Security was first established in 1935, there were a number of jobs that were not considered part of the Social Security system, including what were typically women's jobs and typically jobs of what would be of the lower class or the ethnically diverse group. So they were not entitled to benefits. It was a white man's game. And that's changed. That's important that it's changed. But there's still inequality as we look at the American system. This particular chapter explores both the American system, yes, and the world system. And it's really important that we pay attention to the world system. The fact is that women support the economy in all countries, and they often are working in these vulnerable employment positions that are unsupported. Workers in the rice field, the family pigs farm, handling all the work, why at the process at home, the cottage industries that exist to help them survive. I bring up in the writing here on this module that I think of my grandmother, the stay-at-home person. Yes, stay-at-home, small farm, only 48 acres, milking cows, working the garden, and 150 laying hens and an egg route to deliver. She was definitely a working woman that did not qualify as what was considered a job out there in the world. That was the woman's responsibility. And you're going to see that these things still exist today, that there's this status. And then we deal with such things as pink collar jobs. And just thinking about that, jobs that are primarily women's jobs pay less. And when men enter those fields, then they have the escalator that raises them to the top. Nursing, a prime example. Social work, an example of that as well. Predominantly women in that field, but men serve at a much higher number at those in charge or as managers. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time creating this video, and it's not going to be very long compared to many of the other videos because I have so much for you to see. As I warned you last week, your first movie was Be Time to Work, which covers both the last chapter and this chapter. And then there's a TED Talk, so a short on the new data on the rise of women. And then a very interesting movie called Why Can't Women Earn as Much as a Man, made in about 2006, so it's fairly current within the process. Then I have two YouTube videos here for you to look at, which are very short. The last one being on Lilly Ledbetter. The Lilly Ledbetter law went in effect at the first session of Obama administration. And hopefully you'll get a better understanding of why this law is important and why it's come into place. As usual, you'll have your discussion boards, and the gender exercises you can choose from this week are 1 and 2. With that, I promise to keep it short. So there it is. The review for the week. Keep in touch with me with questions. I appreciate those that pop in to talk and ask questions in the office that are here on campus. For those of you that are away, don't forget to stay involved. And so far, your discussions have been fabulous.